Good morning. Thank you all for coming. And welcome to Mill Hill Park, one of our city's beautiful parks and assets. As you know, Trenton is very unique. It is a city rich in history, culture, creativity, and industrial innovation, and we are very, very proud of that. As the world changes rapidly, post-industrial cities must adapt and devise ways to grow their economies, to leverage their assets for future results and future generations. This dynamic, I've said before, cannot happen without high-intensity collaborations that align critical interests by effective leaders who must work together to step forward of the line to do important things that actually changes our communities. It is in that spirit that I once again introduce our governor and my friend, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Chris Christie.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here. I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Commissioner Richmond for being here as well. We're here again today in Trenton to continue our commitment to revitalizing the capital city, to make it an even better place to live, work, and visit. We know that the availability of high-quality housing in Trenton, along with the safety and quality of life initiatives we've announced previously, is essential to our comprehensive effort to attract and retain residents and employers as well as visitors. As part of our strategy to invigorate urban growth and investment here, we're announcing today $9 million in initiatives that will address both market rate and affordable housing in the capital city. Through the Downtown Living Initiative program, $4.5 million in funding will be made available by the Department of Community Affairs to support the development of these market rate housing units. These projects can be new construction or conversion, but consideration will be given to substantial rehabilitation projects in buildings that have been vacant for at least 2 years and are deemed to be critical to a Trenton neighborhood. Priority is going to be given to projects that demonstrate how a market rate rental project can be integrated with or provide stimulus to other development projects such as retail, office space, or urban home ownership. The funding is going to focus on a few areas: the downtown, Hanover Academy, Mill Hill, and the train station neighborhoods. Funding will be provided in the form of a 0% non-amortizing loan and must be repaid upon future refinancing or sale of the project. In addition, DCA has pledged an additional $4.5 million in state housing trust fund monies to fund the construction of affordable housing units in the city of Trenton. The trust fund provides a critical source of gap financing that supports the construction and preservation of permanent high-quality housing that's affordable to our low and moderate income families here in Trenton. In combination with programs like the federal low-income housing tax credits, it's anticipated that we could build 60 new affordable housing units in Trenton neighborhoods, in addition to the market rate units that I just mentioned before, that'll be part of the Downtown Living Initiative. During our administration, these types of programs have contributed to over 25,000 additional units of affordable housing throughout the state. We've been steadfast in reducing housing insecurity. Over the past 5 years, homelessness has decreased by nearly 29%, according to a new New Jersey Counts 2017 report. Since 2013, data shows homelessness has dropped by 49% in the state of New Jersey. So now, with today's announcement, we're going to continue to help the residents of Trenton with housing options. We know that's just one more piece of the puzzle to try and make Trenton more livable and more attractive. And all the other initiatives, which you've all been around to hear about, that the mayor and I have announced over the last month or so, are a big part of that. And the safety initiatives that I've announced with the Attorney General are a large part of that as well. And so we're going to continue to work hard with private sector partners and with our partners here in the city to make sure that we do what we need to do to revitalize the city of Trenton even more under Mayor Jackson's leadership. And not to forget that we're also building that new Trenton Central High School, which will be something that's extraordinarily important to students and their families as they look at where do you want to live based in part upon what kind of education and what kind of educational facilities are available for your children as you grow. So that, combined with our work at Mercer County Community College, who's now put that Trenton Hall Annex here in the city, are all very important parts of our plan to revitalize Trenton. I'm going to continue to work over the next 6 months with the mayor to set as many of these matters into motion so that the next administration can hopefully complete them with the mayor to be able to continue to move Trenton in a positive direction. I know that as these things get done, the city administration is going to attract more and more private sector investors to the city of Trenton. And that is something that will be great for the state capitol. And so that when the new State House is renovated and opened in 4 years, it will be surrounded by a much different looking city than the city it was surrounded in when it closed. So I want to thank the mayor for his initiatives and his hard work, the members of the council, the members of his staff who have been extraordinary to deal with for my team, and the folks at DCA, FMHA, and all the folks who are involved in this program. So I thank you all for being here today, and I can take a couple of questions before I go. Hey, Michael. Well, we'll make decisions, Michael, based upon whatever winds up landing on my desk. So I'm not going to prejudge any of that stuff, as you know I normally do not. But what I will say is I think that, it's good to have this conversation. I've been trying to initiate this conversation for months, and I'm glad we're having it.
Lieutenant Governor Giordano put out a statement just to herself on the horizon proposal. This is a sign of broader Republican non-support over the measure.
No, I mean, I guess it was 3 or 4 out of the 5, I think, yesterday, Republicans on the Budget Committee voted yes. So I think when you get 80% of the vote of your party, that's usually a pretty good thing. So yeah, no, I don't think that's a sign of anything other than the Lieutenant Governor's opinion, which he's welcome to.
Governor, the Democrats passed the $34.2 billion budget that includes the lottery proposal that's factored in. Do you think you'll sign it with the spending they added?
I don't know. Sal, we'll have to see when the budget comes to me, what else comes to me, and we'll consider all of this holistically as we always do. But I always reserve my right to exercise my constitutional authorities as I see fit regarding the budget. But no reason to make any commitments today. All we've got are some budgets that are out of the committees. When they get to my desk, I'll give it full consideration.
Governor, on Bill Spadier's radio show this morning, Steve Forbes compared your administration to the faulty government in Venezuela. Do you think there's a comparison between you and Hugo Chavez?
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, Steve must have nothing to do. It's okay. If Steve's actually going on 101.5, I think that's all I need to say. Yeah, Michael.
How concerned are you about the GOP healthcare bill in the Senate right now and anticipated Medicaid cuts on the impact on the state?
Well, again, as I've said before, Michael, if the Medicaid expansion is changed without an appropriate transition and ability for us to be able to deal with those issues, that's a problem. And so it seems to me from what I'm reading that the GOP bill in the Senate's changing by the day as they attempt to get more votes for it, because I think right now they're short of votes from what I've read. So obviously it's a concern to me. Anything that impacts Medicaid will be a real burden on the people of the state of New Jersey. So I'm concerned about it. But again, we'll have to see what actually comes out of there, because I guess is what I read, at least, again, I don't have any inside information, is that they're 4 or 5 votes short of being able to get where they need to get. So when that happens, a lot of negotiation occurs, and we'll see what the bill ultimately looks like.
And also in D.C., Supreme Court half endorsed President Trump's travel ban yesterday. Your reaction to that?
Haven't read the full decision yet. My instinct is that they probably did the right thing, because I think the president has pretty broad powers regarding policing immigration from a statutory and constitutional perspective, but I haven't read the whole opinion, Michael. So I couldn't give you a full opinion. But my instinct is, given what I know about the president's constitutional authority on immigration issues, is the Supreme Court probably landed in the right place.
Why all these announcements now, Governor, in Trenton? Why weren't they earlier in Mayor Jay's term?
Well, we worked with Mayor Jackson to come up with a plan. You know, so, I mean, these are the results of a lot of hard work between me showing respect to Mayor Jackson's administration so they can get a handle on what they wanted to see done in the city. And what we've tried to do is to bring whatever ideas we had on the shelf that we couldn't do with previous administrations because they were corrupt, and to work with Mayor Jackson's administration because we now have an honest, hardworking, intelligent administration to work with. So the reason for the announcements now is this is when we have been able to come to agreement on what the city wants. I mean, I don't want to impose things on the city. I want to be able to be a partner with them. And so now we've had plans. And, you know, it's not recent. We started going all the way back to Roebling Lofts and that announcement, which was quite some time ago, in working on the private sector side of things with the city. And we've had regular announcements. So we've got great plans here, and I'm making sure the money is available for us to be a full partner with the city. And so some of it was like waiting for TTF to be done, because that allowed us to do the pedestrian bridge that I was talking about a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. So some of it's by getting the money ready, and some of it, more of it was in making sure that we were in agreement with the mayor on what needed to be done. And he's still got a list from what I understand. So he's got some more things he'd like me to do. So we're going to continue to go over that. This is an ongoing process, not a completed one. Yeah.
Yeah, Governor, the Supreme Court said today that they're going to take up the state sports betting case. Your reaction to that? If the court doesn't allow sports betting to go forward, what can the state do to pursue it further?
Well, I'm thrilled that we got certiorari at the Supreme Court. Very few cases get granted certiorari by the Supreme Court. So I'm very optimistic and looking forward to having conversations later today with Ted Olson, who represents us in the Supreme Court. And I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good. He's got a 750 winning percentage in the Supreme Court. So I feel pretty good having Ted Olson represent us. So, you know, again, if the Supreme Court goes the other way, I don't know what our options are, but we'll have to make that evaluation at the time. But the fact that the Supreme Court granted cert in this case is a very good sign for sports betting having a future in New Jersey. I'm encouraged by it. We're not declaring victory, but at least we're in the game, and that's what we want to be. Charlie?
The Medicaid expansion. As the bill's written right now, wouldn't that undermine all your work against fighting the opioid addiction here and nationally? And do you think the $2 billion that's
Again, Charlie, we'll see what they come up with ultimately. I've been pretty plain publicly expressing my concerns about proposed changes to the Medicaid program. I don't think I've been ambiguous about that. But again, the Senate has a lot of work to do yet, and then even after that, they're going to have a conference between the two different bills. So I'm not ready to declare a crisis yet. You know, I've made my position pretty clear, as have a number of other governors, and we'll see where they come down. You know, as I said to you, I'm not going to talk about what I discussed with the president, but the president and I speak regularly, so you can be assured that a lot of different topics, including this one, came up. They're the only nonprofit insurer in the state. They are unique. They are a nonprofit insurer with a charitable mission so designated by law in the state of New Jersey. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. They are a creation of the state. They are not a private company. They are a nonprofit public insurer. So there's no one else in their category, unlike in Atlantic City, where there are many other casinos. There is no other nonprofit public insurer. So that's the difference. Matt?
Governor, yesterday some undisclosed group was handing out these $1 million George Norcross 20 bills, and you know, in discussion with Horizon, there's been a lot of talk with lawmakers, maybe privately to us, about this being a Norcross-driven proposal. Any response to that? Is that sort of just?
Listen, you know, Horizon's doing everything they can to try to be less accountable and less transparent, and throwing stuff up against the wall is part of what they did, including the carnival that they put on yesterday at the State House. Wonder how much that cost. And by the way, policyholders paid for all of it. You know, everybody who's talking about concerns about policyholder money, I read a Philadelphia Inquirer story that said that they have 10 different in-house lobbyists, 5 different out in the outside lobbyists, and they put on that whole carnival yesterday. Maybe you all should be asking them how much that cost, how much all their lobbying costs. And that all comes from the policyholders. So, you know, not to mention all their advertising in the media. Dustin? I'll give it to you, Michael.
Why wouldn't it be cause for alarm at this point for the GOP bills in Washington, given that a set of people both chambers legislation is demanding the expansion of rollback, and other Republican senators and governors
Because I'm an experienced politician who knows that you don't set alarm bells off until there are reasons to. We have expressed our opinion. Dustin, I'm not a member of the United States Senate. Okay, I've expressed my opinion as a governor that I'm concerned about proposed Medicaid changes. I'm not going to go down to Capitol Hill and pour gasoline on myself and light myself on fire. I have lots of friends and contacts down there. I've expressed myself. And now the Senate and the House will express their will and the president will express his. But I don't know what you want me to do, you know, like go and have a march on Washington. I mean, I've expressed myself behind this microphone any number of times already. Maybe that's not sufficient for all of you, but that's what I get to do since I'm not a member of that body. I don't have a vote. I'm not on a committee. I get to express myself on behalf of New Jersey's program, which I'm the guy who voluntarily expanded it, and I'm the person who has publicly said it's worked, and also publicly expressed the fact that I have concerns about this. But I'm not going to go start yelling and screaming about it. That's not the way you get things done in this context. Michael? Oh, I'm not worried. We haven't had a shutdown on my watch. I'm not worried. You know, Michael, this is it. This is the way the game is played down here. You know that. This is like nothing that is surprising you. There may be some others here who are a little bit surprised or put off by this, but you've been around long enough and seen this enough. You know how this works. And the fact is that there's even more than 4 issues at play. There's lots of other stuff going on, too. And so, you know, my job as governor in my 8th year and my 9th budget, when you count the first budget we had to do when we came in February of 2010, is to keep my head about me. That's my job. And I'll keep my head about me, and we'll get where we need to get to. We've gotten there every time on my watch. And, you know, I don't know what the path will be this time, but we've got, like, what, another 72 hours or so? I'm not worried. 90-10 against a shutdown. Well, all of you people listen to Michael Aaron. Very smart, very experienced. He was covering these things before you were born, most of you, except for Style. So, you know, but the rest of you, he probably was covering them before most of you were born. So bet on Aaron. I usually do. He's usually right. So I'm just not worried, Michael. I don't spend my time worrying about it. I was working all day yesterday, talking to legislators and trying to work out issues. And I'm sure I'll be doing that again this afternoon. And for the rest of the time between now and when all this legislation will land on my desk, and then we'll sort our way through it. But I'm not that concerned, not at the moment. If I get concerned, I'll call you. All right? Yes, Elise.
Yes.
You walked away from the Broad Street Bank building, and that was going to be a big part of kind of your Renaissance for luxury partners, professionals, and retail. The retail hasn't. How much of that building did turn out to be luxury housing? How much of it is government?
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me or off the top of my head, but I can tell you it's initiatives like the governor announced today that will help us create the dynamic in our downtown with residential. And I'm an advocate for market rate and mixed use, so that's the initiatives that myself and my administration, the partnerships I'm working on with the governor, will also help us achieve. And where we have potentially buildings that did not meet their full expectancy, I'm confident under my watch and my administration, when we have partnerships like today, we'll reach our full potential. All the initiatives that we have put in place thus far in my administration typically have some type of give back or penalty. That the expectancy is from my administration that people will do what they say they will. If not, there'll be a repercussion that properties will come back or an opportunity to rebid them out, whatever the process would dictate. Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
Want to take that one?
No, you take happily.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, well, they get a lot of money from Horizon, so you're not surprised about that, are you? I want you to go. You guys will do a little work because there's not going to be a lot going on. You remain calm. All right. You guys should go and do a little work. Go look at the Horizon Foundation and see how many people who are actually opposing this legislation got money from the Horizon Foundation. Go find out how many of these organizations are getting money from Horizon or the Horizon Foundation. I mean, you know, the fact is that I know this is a concept that is abhorrent to discuss, but there are times that interest groups in this city are bought and paid for on a number of different levels. And I've seen that any number of times with the Chamber of Commerce. So, you know, doesn't matter to me. And quite frankly, in my experience in Trenton, the Chamber of Commerce has very little influence. The only one who has less is probably BIA. Yeah. This is a unique business. This is a unique business, as I said in response to Katie's question. This is a unique business. They are the only nonprofit insurer in the state, the only one with a charitable mission, the only one who has that type of charter that's given to them by the state of New Jersey. So that's why Steve Forbes' argument is completely fallacious. You know, this is not something that we would have the ability to do or the right to do with other businesses. But this business was the insurer of last resort before Obamacare, was given special nonprofit status and special advantages that other insurers in this state don't have, let alone other businesses. So that's why when the Chamber's argument can be batted away that quickly, you know that what happened was they got the talking points from the Horizon lobbying team and the check. And that's why they're saying the things they're saying. So, you know, that one was determined long ago. Yep. I don't know which program you're talking about. So why don't you get specifics to Brian and we'll give you a response to it. But I can't respond to, of the thousands of programs, that one off the top of my head. Mm-hmm.
Governor Doug, the bounty hunter, is in town for bail reform. Will you meet with him?
No. Come on. Would you? Well, yeah. That's because you got to. Yeah. See, if you were an elected official, you wouldn't. Who would meet with him? Come on, stop. No, it could not use some reform. No, I disagree with you. And you can give me your legal analysis on why bail reform needs to be changed and school the former U.S. attorney on why the bail reform should be changed. But, you know, I got to tell you the truth. I'd meet with you before I'd meet with the bounty hunter to discuss this issue. Are you offering any? I mean, if I want some changes, I'll talk to the people who can change them. Oh, I've been looking at them for weeks. And why would I answer your question the second time you asked it when I didn't answer it the first time? I'm not going to answer that because that's a part of negotiation. I'm not going to sit here and negotiate with you. As much as I've really grown to like you, I can't. You should take that off your Twitter page too. I don't not like you. I mean, seriously. You know, like let that part of it go. You know, I mean, it's just one comment, one time. I mean, I call on you all the time. We have friendly banter. You know, let it go. It's I like you, but unless you get a spot in leadership in either the Senate or the Assembly, I'm not going to discuss which numbers I like or don't like until, you know, I have an agreement. That's the way this works. I mean, otherwise I could be adjudged to be ineffective, and God knows I wouldn't want you guys to adjudge me to be that. So. Pardon me? I haven't done that yet? It's in the car. I'll do it as soon as I get in the car. You won't leave this property, and you will be followed by me on Twitter. Do I follow the rest of you guys? Anybody else I don't follow? I don't follow you? Shoot. All right. You, Seidman, too? Don't follow you? I got a lot of work to do between now and when I get back to 225 West State. Do you? Well, I want to end that sliding right now. This is an era of goodwill. This is the 50th anniversary of the Summer of Love. So why not extend it between me and the Trenton Press Corps? I'm going to unfollow Style. But other than that, the rest of you are going to file. And you know what? That will actually make him happy that I do that. So it will be consistent with the Summer of Love theme. Aaron, do you tweet?
Yeah, I tweeted a couple months ago.
All right. Excellent. Good. All right. Anything else, Charlie?
Just as a preparation to give some numbers to your concern about the Medicaid policy, do an analysis based on this bill, other iterations,
No, Department of Human Services is doing that because that's where Medicaid Services is.
but also the hospitals too.
But all Medicaid Services is run out of there, so they take care of running all those numbers for us. So Department of Human Services is analyzing all this stuff for us, and when they have, a final bill to look at, Charlie, from the Senate, then we can compare the Senate side to the House side and make some conclusions. But that's all done in Department of Human Services under Medicaid Services. Anything else? Or have you had enough? Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Why not? Give it a try. You never know.
So yesterday on the radio, you said that you hadn't spoken yesterday with Sweeney.
At the time, I had not spoken to Sweeney, Prieto, or Kane by the time I went on the radio yesterday, yes.
So then you spoke with them and then there were conversations.
I spoke to a number of them after I got off the radio yesterday, and I spoke to Bramnick this morning. He's been my only call so far this morning, was Bramnick. I spoke to Sweeney yesterday evening.
Expect negotiations today, or is everyone just
Well, they're not down here, but they can call me or they can come down and visit if they want. I've got a few meetings this afternoon, but I got a couple open slots. Not for the bounty hunter guy, but a couple open slots. So if those guys wanted to come down, they'd be more than welcome to come down. I have an opening for lunch today too, because I had a lunch, but it got canceled. So maybe I might slot somebody in for lunch today. We'll see. You're not asking. I already did lunch with you once, pathetically, when no one else would take you out to lunch among your colleagues.
Will you at least request that the state's attorney general maybe meet with Charlie?
No. I like the state attorney general. I'm not going to ask him to do that. I'm going to say, Chuck, who's my least favorite cabinet member? I'll ask them to meet with the bounty hunter. Chuck will come up with, he knows. Chuck's been around a long time. He knows who my least favorite cabinet member is, and we'll send that person over to that department and let them meet with them. May have something to do with the subject matter, may not, but at least they'll say they met with somebody. No, I have not. No, I have not. Not directly. Anything else? Oh, sorry. Only press today. You got to have one of those fancy badges. Town hall meeting. I'll take questions from the public. Anything else? All right, everybody. Mayor, thank you. Members of the council and the staff, thank you. Let's get to work here in Trenton.